So here with me, I have Ankara fabric and also a lining, okay, for turning it up. And I have just 2 yards of the fabric. So what I'm going to do now, the half length, which is 11 inches, I'm going to adjust 1 inch, okay, for joining to the lower bodice. So I'm going to subtract the full length, which is 32 inches from 11. So what I will have there is 21 inches, okay, 21 inches. That will be for our lower bodice. Let me fold in our fabric right now. So I'll go right there and turn up the fabric, taking note of the right side and the wrong side. Here's the wrong side. So I'll fold it this way in a lengthy form. So I'm going to cut our upper bodice right now, which is the half length. So the half length, like I said before, is 11 inches. I'm going to add just 1 inch for joining to the lower bodice and also for joining at the same time. Half inch for the lower bodice, while half inch will be for the shoulder, okay, for the shoulder. So the full length, the half length is what? The half length is 11 inches. So I'll add 1 inch, okay, for joining to the lower and upper bodice. So I'll make this a straight line like so. What next I'm going to do now is to take in to determine the folding, okay. So I'll use the highest body circumference, which is what? Which is my bust measurement. So the bust of this girl is 29 inches. 29 into 4, what I'll have is 7.25. So I'll mark 7.25 like so. So I'll be adding just 2 inches for joining, okay. So I have excess. What I will do now is to lower it a bit like so. So I'll bring it down, okay. So here we have 7.25 plus 2 inches, okay. So right now I'll go ahead and insert our shoulder measurement, which is 13. 13 divided by 2, we have 6.5 inches, okay. I'll add just half inch for joining to the sleeve. There's going to be a sleeve. So at this point, I'll come down 1 inch, okay, for shoulder slant. What next I'm going to do is to take in the neck width. The neck width will be 3 inches, okay. Then the depth will be I'm cutting the front bodice. So the depth for the front bodice will be 3 inches as well. So 3 by 3, okay. So I'm going to come up 1 inch at this point. 1 inch at this point. I will now connect it like so. That's for the neck. So what I'll do now from the shoulder slope, I'll connect to the neck width, okay. Remember, we marked 3 inches at this point. I'll take it all the way up. So from this shoulder slope right there, I'll come down for the armhole depth. Armhole depth, we said 13, that's the shoulder divided by 2, we have 6.5. So the armhole depth will be, we'll mark 6.5 as well, okay. So I'll trace it all the way up like so. Okay. So now I've marked down the armhole depth like so. So at this point, I'll come up 1 inch, okay. Then now this is our chest line. So the bust circumference is 29. Into 4, we have 7.25. So I'll mark 7.25 like so. So I'll add extra 2 inches at this point, okay. Then now for the waist. The waist is 27 divided by 4, we have 6.75. So I'll mark 6.75 like so. I'll add 1 inch for that. There will be a dot, okay. Then extra 2 inches, okay, at this point. So from here now, I'll connect it to meet the chest line. Okay. Then from this point, I'll give the armhole curve. Okay. So that's it for the front body. So I'm going to cut. So here we have the front bodice. Now for the back, I've gone ahead and folded the fabric into two. So what I will do now is to place my front bodice right there, and I've marked out allowance, okay, for zip allowance. That is 1.5 inches for my zip allowance, okay. So I'll place it like so. The back bodice, okay, the folded edge against the line where I mapped out, okay, on the line exactly. The folded edge of the back bodice, I'll place it right there on the mapped point, like so. Okay, so that's it. So the difference now between the front and the back is just the neckline, okay, neck depth rather, and the zip allowance. So what I will do now, I'll mark where the neck width is, which is at this point. At this point, that's where our neck width is, okay. So what I will do now, I'll fold it up like so. So right now for my neck, for the neck depth of the back bodice, and I'll trace it like so. This is the shoulder slant. I'll trace it, okay. So from this point, the neck depth, I want to make use of a V shape, okay. So I'll come down 8 inches, okay, 8 inches like so. So on this point, I'll trace it all the way up to make the neck width, okay. So what I will do now is to create the neck shape. That's the V shape. Also, I'm going to connect it. I'm going to connect it like so. So while cutting, I'll cut all the way from here up, okay. So that's that. Every other thing is the same except the neck depth and the zip allowance. So what I will do now is to cut. Okay. So at the waist area, I'm going to come up. That's for the zip bush, okay. To eliminate the zip bush, I'll come in 1/2 inch like so. Then I'll connect it all the way up. So I'm going to cut it all the way from here to eliminate the zip bush. So that's all for. So while folding, here will be our zipper allowance, and that's the V shape, and this is the front bodice together with the dart. So what I will do now is to cut the lining for this, okay. Then I will also, remember I said our full length is 32 minus 11 inches, that's the half length. What we have there is 21 inches, okay. So now I've gone ahead and cut the lining for my upper bodice, okay, for both the front and the back. Also for the lower bodice, remember I said the full length for the gears is 32 inches. So I subtracted 11 from 32. What I have here is 21 plus 1.5 inches. That is a 22.5 inches is what I have here, okay. That's the length. So I'll be using 1/2 inch to join to the upper bodice, while I'll use just 1 inch to fold it at the lower hem, okay. So now I've also gone ahead and cut the lining for the lower bodice as well. So here I have 18 inches, okay. I have here 18 inches, yes. So because the lining is supposed to be shorter than the actual fabric, so I'm going to turn this like so. So what I have here is, this is the front panel. So I'll go right there and turn it and flip it this way, okay. You can iron this out, or after stitching you can as well iron, but it's always good to iron out during stitching. It helps a whole lot. So what I'm going to do now is to turn this with this lining. First of all, I'll close it at the neckline area using just 1/2 inch. Okay, so because it's going to have a sleeve, okay, so I'm not going to close the sleeve area, but it being there won't be any sleeve, what I will also do is to close in the sleeve using 1/2 inch. Okay, but for this tutorial I'm not going to close the sleeve. I'm going to attach a short basic sleeve to it. Okay, so I'm going to close this right now, then close the side and flip to the right side. After flipping to the right side like so, it's going to be like so. So after flipping like so, I'm going to close here using just 1/4 inch. Okay, 1/4 inch, not 1/2 inch. I also do the same for this back bodice. So I'm going to turn it, flip it right side facing each other. Okay, here we have right side facing each other, and this is the neckline area. So I'm going to close it. Okay, 1/2 inch. Okay, then I'll close in the side, then flip it to the right side, close in the lower area or hem area. So at this point we're going to use it to join to the lower bodice like so. Okay, what I have here is 2 yards. Okay, 2 yards of this fabric, so you can make use of 2 times the round waist circumference of your clients. It could be 3 times the waist circumference, depending on the availability of the material you have at hand. So for this tutorial I made use of all the material I have. Now remember I said I have 2 yards or so. Okay, so I used 2 yards for this tutorial. For this particular one, what I have here is just 2 yards of the fabric. So I'm going to close in this right now, then after which I'm going to join this too. So now I'm done joining the lining. Okay, and I've gone ahead and top stitch. Okay, right there, also the back, and I've also closed the zip allowance. Okay, like so. So what next I will, so for the dart, for the front bodice, I'll go right there and look for the midpoint. I'll notch it, give it a notch at this center point. Okay, so from this point, the bust that space for my client is 3 inches, so I'll add 1/2 inch. Okay, that is 3.5. I'll mark 3.5 at this point, and also 3.5. Okay, so I'll take it up. Why the dart length 3.5 as well? Now it's a baby, a child of 10 years, so I'm going to straighten it up like so. 3.5 like so. So do on the other side 3.5. Okay, so in between I'll come in 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, 1/2 inch on both sides for this, and also do the same on this 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'll connect it like so. So like so, I'm going to close it up. I will stitch on it like so, starting from here all the way to the 1/2 inch, and also do the same on this. So for the back, I also do the same. Remember we marked 3.5. 1/2 inches for joining or stitching allowance. So at this point, I'll come in 3.5 inches. Remember this is the back. So for the back, I'll come up 5 inches like so. I came up 5 inches. I'll also do the same on the other side. Okay, 3.5 like so. So I'll also come up 5 inches for the dart length. So I'll mark it. So that's it. So I'm going to stitch from that point. I'll come up 1/2 inch on both sides. Also half inch on both sides. Okay, so what I will do now is to mark, this is half inch on both sides. Half inch on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to stitch on it like so. So I'll do this and join it. After I must have finished stitching on it, so I'm going to close the sides. Okay, on the shoulder area, I'll fold it this way and close it, lining to lining and fabric to fabric, using half inch on both shoulders. Then after that, I will now take this side. I'll measure out the actual body measurement. I'll close it up before joining the lower bodice. Now I've joined the sides. Okay, I've joined the sides and I went ahead and open up the zip allowance like so. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the measurement of the waist measurement. Okay, the waist length like so. So what I have here is 30 inches. I gathered the lower bodice like so. Okay, this is gathered. You can gather it, you can as well do pleating on it. It depends on choice. So here I have the right side and this is the wrong side. So like I said before, this was just 2 yards. Okay, 2 yards of the fabric. So what I will do now, I also go ahead and measure out if what I have here, remember your waist is 27 inches plus 1.5 for zip allowance, that is 3. So 27 plus 3, that's what made it 30 inches for the upper bodice. So I'll go ahead right there and measure, confirm if what I have here is up to 30. Okay, if it is more than 30 inches, what I will do is to, as I'm joining it, I'm pleating. So you see, it's just 1 inch higher, just 31. So I'll just do little pleating. So what I'm going to do now, I'll flip this right side facing each other. Okay, remember we have lining on this. After joining the lower bodice to the upper bodice, I'm going to use lining to close it up. Okay, to seal it up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pin this. So I'll pin it like so, both sides. I'll also do the same on the other side. I'll pin it down on both edges. Okay, so the center point, you can as well decide to mark the center point of the lower body slice. So just mark it. This is the center point. I'll just shock it down. Okay, so that means this upper body swim, the center point we notched before, will tally with this one here. Okay, I hope we are seeing it. So I'm going to fasten it down with a pin. So I'll go right there on my sewing machine and join it. Okay, I'll join it all the way, making sure that I fastened the lower bodies. Everything should tally with that of the upper bodies. So I'll do this and show us. Okay, then for the belt, okay, I've gone ahead and cut out a long strip of length. What we have here is of length 30 inches. Okay, the length 30 inches in length. Then the wideness is 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn it to the wrong side. Okay, yeah, I'll flip it. I'm going to stitch on it. This is the wrong side, while the inside is the right side. So I'm going to join it this way. Okay, I'll just have to create a V shape. Okay, so I'll come up at this end I'll come up 1.5 inch like so. Then I'll connect it in a straight line. I'll connect it in a straight line. Okay, in a slanted form. Okay, like so. Then I'll take it all the, I will stitch it all the way up. Okay, like so, in a slanted form. You can come up 2 inches, 2.5, depends on how lengthy you want the slant to be. So I'll stitch it to the other side, and I'll now turn it. Okay, I also do the same on the other side. So I'm going to do this and fix it on the upper bodice. Now I've gone ahead and joined the belt to the gown like so. See how it is. And I've also closed in the lower hem. I've hemmed it at the lower part. So what I will do now is to fix in the lining. Okay, so I'll go right there and open it up just the way you see me doing it. And I will adjust on both edges on the upper bodice. Watch the way I'm doing it on the upper bodice, just on that seam allowance. So I'll flip it like so on the upper bodice, on the seam allowance mapped out. I'll go ahead and fasten it with a pin. So I'll hold it down with a pin, and I'm going to pleat it just this way. All the lining, I'll fasten it right there within the waist circumference. So that's it. After which I will run a stitch as I'm stitching on it and pleating on the lining. Okay, so after that I will turn it to the lower bodice. It will be in this form. So I'm going to do this and show us how it looks. Right now I'm done fixing in the lining. Okay, so, and I've also gone ahead and fix in the zip. Here's the zip. Okay, see how it is. Right there on the zip allowance that was mapped out for it. So here is the lining as well. See how the inside is well fixed. Okay, and here is the zipper too. So that's it. So what I'll do now is to fix in the sleeve. So I'll turn it back to the right side, okay, for us to see it well. So here is the armhole opening of the dress. So I'm going to fix the sleeve, okay, and show us the final look of this our baby ball gown. So beautiful. So thank you so much guys for watching to this end. I really appreciate you guys. Just hit on that subscribe button, okay? Give this video a thumbs up, share the video to your friends and well wishers, okay? Click on that notification bell beside it, okay, beside the subscribe button, so that each time I upload a new video, you will be the first to be notified. So thank you so much guys, I really appreciate it. So it's bye for now. Bye.